match preview because Luis Enrique has been speaking his press conference, making some nice comments about Spurs. He's saying Tottenham have had a great start to the season. They're a strong side.
Oh, he's pepping us.
Yeah, exactly. And he's saying, yeah, the thing is, Pep usually loses to us.
Yeah, true.
And he says that was the first game that he's talking about the Super Cup, and he says that was the first game of the season. Wednesday's game will be different. We're more ready to be the dominant team and to win the match. Our goal is the same in every match, to be dominant. And you know what? I've been seeing some PSG accounts saying, this week we take revenge on Tottenham. And I'm like, what revenge? You beat us. You beat us on penalties. Like,
you won the
come
trophy.
on, like you're literally lifting the trophy at the end of it. Like, why are they coming out for revenge?
We dared take the lead. How dare they? Like, who do you think they are trying to take the lead?
Mad.
They still think they lost. Maybe that count didn't watch the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
Well, they're pissed off.
Yeah. So look.
Anthony in the comments says the XG is going to be 0.0000000. The decimal. Can you find a decimal small enough for what we're going to create tomorrow? Do they have decimals that small?
Yeah. Look, we all know it's going to be crazy hard to win this game. Look, if you look at
can't win, let's just get how's a point.
Like, if you look at the PSG team that played on the weekend, you were looking at it before, like how many players did they actually rest?
Yeah. They rested Kavisha came off the bench, they rested Barcola, they rested Fabian Ruiz, they rested Marquinhos, they rested Paco, Hakimi and Dembele didn't play. So they're going to have a lot of fresh players coming into the game in midweek. And
we've just come off an absolute drubbing playing our full-strength team in the North London derby. Low on confidence.
Is there any chance, like, because we were talking about it before, right, with comparing, how Pochettino started to how Frank started, and there was like a moment for Poch when things like Villa game where he's like, all right, enough's enough. We're not playing Adebayors anymore. We're not playing Kaboul's anymore. Like, we need everyone buying into it. And he just went like really young players, Kane, Mason, Bentaleb, like brought them all in, and everyone bought into it. And we saw on the weekend just this lack of intensity, this lack of fight. Is there any chance he's like, you know what, get Bergvall in, get Gray in, just get these younger players who are just, maybe they're going to be more receptive right now to what I'm trying to get them to do. Maybe they're going to give things more intensity. And even if we lose, at least maybe they'll enforce something.
I mean, you look back at that Pochettino time and there was like clear players causing problems like the old guard. We don't really have an old guard. Who's our old guard? And who's the ones causing an issue? Like, I get what you're trying to say, but I don't know which players we're supposed to be taking out for them. Like
Bentancur, maybe.
Yeah, but apart from him, who else?
Palhinha.
You take Palhinha out, you know what I mean? He was our best player at the Emirates.
Who else would there be?
That's it. Those are the only two players. You see? Like, who are these players?
I don't know, yeah. I don't know.
So I get what you're trying to say, but I just can't see it. Unless a Bergvall plays instead of a Sarr, or a Bergvall plays instead of a Bentancur, or a Javi plays instead of, like, apart from that, there's not many changes that he's going to make to this team. The back line is the back line. The only one you can add in there is a Spence, really. The only changes you can make is up front, and none of them are old. Kudus and Muani just signed for us. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
What can we, like, going into this game, because we think the best way of, like, playing, if he does play this formation, we're saying, like, a 3-5-2, make it difficult, sit back, counter. Even if we do seem like we do well, we get, like, a draw. Have we, like, learned much, even if that happens, if you know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not saying it wouldn't be impressive and we shouldn't be happy. I'm just saying, like, but if that happens, then we go back against Fulham, we still can't dominate the ball. Like, are we still back to square one then?
Well, I think what we'll see is a team and players fighting for the badge, which we haven't seen in recent weeks. We've seen a clear lack of intensity, a clear lack of idea on the pitch. So at least we'll see some sort of plan being followed, because even against Arsenal, you saw what the plan could have been with the lineup. We were trying to, sit deep and be compact and try hit them on the break. If we do that and actually do it moderately successfully and actually create a few chances, then you can look at it in a positive light. We haven't been able to look at a game in a positive light in a while now. So if we can do that, it's a step in the right direction, I guess.
No, that's true. I'm just talking about in the terms of the question marks we'll have about what Frank is trying to implement. Like, can we, if we are going to approach the game in this way, even if it does work, it's like we haven't learned much about the way we're implementing.
I think from that aspect, this it is a bit of a free hit because you're playing PSG. You're playing literally in the last week, we've played two of the hardest games you can get in Europe: Arsenal away and PSG away. I think you learn a lot more when we go play Fulham at home on the weekend.
I agree.
In this game, I just want to see a bit of a plan. I want to see team fighting for the manager. I want to see a team fighting for the badge, fighting for the fans, and I just want to see us not get completely rolled over and have a few chances. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, I'm not even saying we have to score. Just can we create something? Can we get near their box? Can we have a shot on goal? Can we make the keeper make a save? Look, to be fair, even if it is just set pieces, can we get some set pieces?
I just want to see us fight. Fight for it. Like, fight for us. Fight for the badge. Like, fight for all those travelling fans. You know what I mean? Like,
part of the biggest thing that pissed me off on Sunday was you literally got Eze scoring a hat-trick. He's literally laughing into the camera. He's literally taking the piss, and not one Spurs player seemed like they gave a shit about it. Like they wanted to get some sort of pride back, leave something on someone, or like try and show a bit of fight. Like
we're not going to take this. Wasn't there Declan Rice and Javi?
Not really. It was bare. There's nothing. There was nothing. No one seemed to care. Like we had this intensity at the beginning of the season, but it just seems to have completely disappeared, and we're going to have to get some of that back, but all of it back, really, and more, and then some, probably, if we're going to get anything out of this game. Look, for me, I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting to get a draw or anything. I'm expecting a defeat. If we can keep the score respectable, show like we're in the game for some parts of it, have some sort of chance to show there's a game plan that I can see that a pathway to somehow getting a result, then that's what I can take from it. But even look, the reality is it's a good chance we can get battered by a good scoreline here. But and if we do, there's nothing I can really say because it is PSG. There's a chance that even if we're playing well, going into this in good form, they can roll you over. So there's not much you can really say in this game. But the only thing is, if we get proper embarrassed, 4, 5, 6, then obviously you've got to start to question if the players are really onside. That's the big thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I say I just want to see a team fighting, and I want to see a team really, trying their hardest to overcome a defeat. And I know it's going to be very hard to do that in this game, but if we play anything close to like we played against Chelsea, or like we played against Arsenal, or like we played against Monaco, or like we played against Boda, if we play anything close to that, then literally it could be 6 or 7. Like, I'm not joking. Like, this team, we just read out their past Champions League results. Like, they can do that to teams quite easily. So if you're not on it, that's it. Like, they'll eat you alive. They'll completely eat you alive with the players that they've got. Like, come on, rested as well. Like, God, we need to turn up like men, and we need to fight. We need to fight. There's no other option here. We're going into the Lions' Den. We're going into the champions of the Champions League, the best team in Europe. And if we don't fight, then that's it. We're going to go home battered and bruised like never before. Like, literally, think back to that Bayern game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when we lost 7-2. It could be worse than that, literally.
Yeah, it really could be. And if we're off our game, even if you're off a game, even by a couple of percent, PSG, this PSG team smell blood. They smell weakness. They've got incredible technical ability. They're also very aggressive. They've got good athletes, but the main thing is their ability to pop it around and just open you up at will. You saw what they did in the final. This was a good Inter Milan team. There's that Inter Milan team, trust me, doesn't have any lack of fight or anything. They're a good team, and they opened them up and won 5-0.
What was the score when Villa went there last year? Because Villa actually sort of knocked PSG out the Champions League last season.
Well, they lost...
was it 2-0?
I think they lost 2-0 and then 3-2 at home, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because Villa,
they won 3-2 at home, sorry.
Yeah, like Villa showed, particularly in the second leg, like they showed proper fight against this PSG team, and it shows how far a bit of fight can get you. If you're all together, a band of brothers, and you fight together, you know, that can go a long way in football. A bit of mentality, you know. And Villa should have knocked PSG out that week, and you know the levels between Villa and PSG are massive.
If it wasn't for Donnarumma, they could have easily.
Exactly, you know that chance that Maatsen had at the end, you know that was the winning goal right there. So that's basically what I want to see. You look at players that they have in the middle of the park, like Vitinha. What a player he is! Like he just does not lose the ball. He does not lose the ball. I feel like with Vitinha, João Neves, players like that, you saw Bentancur and Paulinho, or mainly Bentancur, chasing shadows in the North London derby. I mean, if you thought facing Declan Rice and Zubimendi was hard, you've got another thing coming with these lot.
He's taken his game up to another level. He scored a hat-trick in the international break as well for Portugal. Those three are just... I've never seen, honestly, I think they control games. I've never seen a midfield control game since Iniesta, Xavi and Busquets, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, since those three. That's how good they are. Their passing is just elite. They've got eyes at the back of their head. All three of them have unbelievable vision. You just can't get near them. And then off the ball as well, they're little pit bulls. You know, you think you can overpower them, but they're so strong as well. Like it's going to be very difficult to get any sort of sustained possession out of that team.
Yeah, so you got to get the ball when you can and pick your moments to go forward. It's not like this team are like impenetrable and you can't score against them. You can score against them.
Chances.
But you got to take your chances. You've got to be clinical, and you know we're not.
You're going to see the ball once every 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you got to make the most out of it when you do, and that's why. I mean, Pedro Porro in this game, in terms of his ball playing ability and being able to play those balls over the top to potentially catch them out, will be big for us. But then on the other hand of that, I do kind of worry about Pedro Porro defensively coming up against like Kvicha. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, who did he come up against in the Super Cup? I think I'm trying to remember who was on which side. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, for sure, you've seen Kvicha can do anyone. On the wing.
What a player he is.
He's so strong as well. He's skillful, but he's also strong. He out-muscle you. He's two-footed. He's got a great strike on him. He's so good at saving.
So it was Kvicha.
He had a great game, I remember, in the Super Cup.
Yeah, but again, like, you're not going to see that level of Kvicha, like a Kvicha just coming off the beach literally and rolling up to the Super Cup. Like, this is going to be a Kvicha with a quarter of a season behind in his legs, you know what I mean? And rested on the weekend.
That's the thing. I think PSG are going to be a lot fresher and a lot better than they were in the Super Cup, for sure. But you saw, we saw it after we were looking at it after the North London derby in the reacts. Like the average position we had when we played against them, it was a feet at the back, but we were brave. Danso's average position was in the PSG half. Like we were a lot braver with our pressing. We got stuck into them. So we've got to try and do that again. As much as it is going to be a different game, that has to be the game plan. We have to be brave. You have to take risk. If you don't take risk, you're taking risk, as Frank says. So I don't want to see us camped in our own box and just really deep. You have to go at them and try and, show what you're about.
Yeah,
that's what we've got to do.
And if we go for it and we get battered, I think we'll be able to take it more than if we show what we did against Arsenal and get battered. Do you know what I mean? If we actually go for it, then I'm not going to be fine with getting battered against anyone, no matter who it is, but it makes it a bit more palatable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, show a bit of fight. And I want to see some evidence that Frank has a belief in these players, because at the moment I'm starting to doubt that. You're not that meek in games, especially derbies, if there isn't potential problems between the players and the manager in terms of are they really buying into what you want them to do. And I want to see evidence that they still are. Because there was a big difference from what we were seeing at the beginning of the season. Just not even in approach, just how the players were looking, how they sort of fire in their eyes, and how they were going into challenges and things like that. And we haven't seen that.
And you know what? I was watching a bit of the training footage that we put out this morning, and I know it's only like a small sample size of training, and how much can you really look into it and read into it, but it just looked like depression. It just looked like everyone with like negative body language, shoulders slumped, just going through the motions. That's what it actually looked like. And that doesn't look good.
No.
Because usually when you see this training footage, everyone's like laughing, jovial, having a good time together. I didn't see any of that.
And the problem for Frank is, as you were saying, with Poch, he kind of had those things ready to change if need be, like those elements of the team that clearly were never going to buy into what he was trying to do. But for Frank, there's no obvious thing he can change personnel wise, to which you can say, okay, that can change everything. Like, it's difficult to see how it changes without him changing if this is how it's going at the moment.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was very similar when you think about Nuno. Like, a large problem with Nuno wasn't necessarily just his approach, which obviously was a problem, but I felt like the players didn't respect him. I felt you saw how Kane was when he was there. Kane, like, was sort of the shadow of himself. Like, he was nowhere near the player we knew. I remember he won all those games out of goal. He was barely getting a touch. Then as soon as Conte comes, he's like a different player. He's got a fire in his belly again.
Yeah.
And is there an element to these players? You know, I don't know. Maybe it's harsh to say, but I'm just looking at it at the moment. Maybe he hasn't got into them yet. Like, maybe he hasn't got their full backing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's hard to say right now, but in terms of the performances on the pitch, it doesn't look like anyone is fighting for the cause. That's the reality. From the training footage I've seen, it doesn't seem like anyone is happy to be there right now. Look, it might just be a snapshot, and I might be reading too much into it.
You know what? We did see Spencer Van der Ven walk straight past him. We did see that. It was waved away as an excuse, but maybe there was more to it. We don't know.
It's true. It's true, because as much as we say, like, we can't really tell right now, like, I don't think Van der Ven and Spence just walk past Frank like that. If, like, they're never doing that to Conte, you know what I mean? They're never doing that to a manager which they really respect. So I think there might be more to it. I really do. Which is hard for me to say, because
but the thing is, if he's lost the dressing room already, which I don't know if that's true, but if he has, like, surely something drastic might have happened, or maybe the hierarchy don't want to make any sudden movements just yet. But I don't know. Would we have heard more stuff? Maybe not. Maybe it'll come out. I don't know. I think we are hearing murmurings.
Look, time will tell. Time will tell, and I think it will happen sooner rather than later, because we've got games coming up now, like your Fulham's at home, and if we lose that, you know, the shitstorm that's going to come after losing at Fulham at home. Newcastle away is fine, but then after that, we've got a few games at home, I think. You know, Slavia Prague at home, and if we carry on with these negative performances and we're just looking really bad and the players are not up for it, then I think the club might be forced into a change.
And, we were watching it together, like Van der Ven doing that interview, and you want a strong statement after such a bad North London derby defeat. You want to hear him say it was unacceptable, blah, blah. He's just like, yeah, tough day for us. Yeah,
there was for me, there was something very off about that Van der Ven interview, like very off, which is weird as well, because like Van der Ven is like the player that's probably improved the most under Frank.
That's, you would say, yeah.
And like they were asked him, like, can you give a message to the fans? And he just like laughed a little bit and it was just like, it's really, and then just gave a bit of like jargon. But I'm like, the way he was delivering that interview just seemed a bit off to me. Like, for me, like, nothing seems right at this moment in time, and I just don't know what it is. And the easiest thing to point to is the manager, obviously, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the problem is when we talk about Frank and giving him time, and I think at the end of the day, like, 12 games is a very short amount of time to judge a manager on. But you also have to think about what you're hoping he turns around and starts doing, and is there evidence that he's building towards something that everyone really truly wants at this football club and everyone can buy into. And the problem is, because we there's nothing in his career to really say, that's exactly what we're building towards. Or even just what we've seen in a Tottenham game, apart from we've seen the PSG and City games, but those games are when you're counter-attacking and stuff like that. Games where which we're going to be playing for a majority of the time, dominating in possession, attacking teams. We just haven't seen anything so far. So I can't really say, if you give him time, this is how we can play. Like, that's what he can build towards. I can't see any of that at the moment. That's the struggle with a lot of fans at the moment. I think they're struggling to visualize what giving Frank time is going to look like.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing about it, especially I mean, look, I was very happy for Frank to come to this football club, and I've always, even a few weeks ago, I was saying like, this is definitely going to work. Like, I'm so sure of it. And as the games progress, as the days progress, I'm questioning it more and more every day. And I want to give it time. I want it to work, but I need to see more. I need to see more. And I've always said I'll give it till the end of the season, and I'm still willing to do that. But
and I'm telling you something. I know people say, "Oh, look at Arteta, he finished 8th and all this kind of stuff." I'm telling you, you ask Arsenal fans if they were seeing more at this point. I'm telling you, they would say yes. They saw a little some games where he clicked, and I know he went on long stretches, especially in the second season where they were losing, but
8 defeats in a row.
They did, that's true. And but even in those 8 defeats, you watch some of the games back, they could have won a few of those games. Like I'm telling you, you tell us Arsenal fans, they were seeing little things. I'm not saying they were happy, but they were seeing something.
But they were also calling him tactically inept.
Yeah, but because obviously it was his first job in charge, and look, and obviously everyone's clowning on them, and the same with us. But I just doubt Frank's ability to coach a team that wants to be dominant and wants to attack more often than not, and doesn't want to counter-attack.
Forget wanting to be dominant for a second, but in the games even where, like I said before, in the games where we're supposed to counter-attack, like the Arsenals and like the Chelseas, we're showing nothing.
The thing is, we're not a good counter-attacking team.
No.
We don't counter. Like, when was the last time you saw us just get the ball and be direct and counter swiftly? Yeah. The only times you've maybe seen it is when it's against Leeds. We won the ball in the middle of the park and got into Tell quickly, and we scored and got into Kudus. That's like it, really. We don't really exploit space very well as well, which is not like a Frank team.
Yeah, I mean, particularly since Son's left, Son was the best player at doing that.
Yeah,
we used to counter very well when we had Son in his prime, and we were probably one of the best transitional teams in the league at that time. And now we're not. Now we're probably one of the worst. Unfortunately, we don't have those killers on the transition anymore.
Yeah, we don't get in behind teams.
No. But that's what Frank's supposed to do. Frank's supposed to coach it into these players and coach these young players like the Matisse Tell, like the Odebear, and he's not going to get the chance to do that if we don't give him the time, and that's supposed to be his biggest selling point.
I get that, but I'm not even saying like we don't do it regularly. I'm saying we never do it ever.
Yeah.
Like, at least let's see it a few times.
Yeah.
Like once or twice, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Like after 12 games, you should have seen a
No, I get it.
instances.
I get it. And you know what? Like, anyone who is saying Frank out right now, I do understand it. Like, I completely understand it. I just think it's too early. I think after 12 games, I just don't think like it's the right time to do it. We need to see more, and we need to give him the chance, I think, to get it right and to show us something. At least show us something.
I think that's fair as well. And I've said I'm going to give him to the new year, really, to prove that he can get this team doing certain things on the pitch, like attack and like create chances. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request to show that. I understand managers need time, and I think it's probably unfair to sack him right now. But I've got massive reservations. Massive reservations.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. Like, if this was like before the Chelsea game, I would have probably gone mad at you for saying something like that. But that Chelsea game and that Arsenal game was two of the worst things I've ever seen. And from worse than anything I saw under Ange, worse than anything under Mourinho, Conte, you know what I mean? This is like straight up from the Nuno playbook at Spurs is what we were seeing. That is literally what I'm seeing right now. I said it after the Arsenal game. It's just like there is so many comparisons to that short Nuno tenure that we're seeing right now. That's the worrying thing.
Under those managers, you might complain like, oh, we only had 4 or 5 chances.
Yeah.
Like now we're complaining about not having any chances.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the issue Frank's got to contend with. And look, he's got a big game coming up tomorrow. Obviously, if we do surprise people tomorrow, they'll buy him some time for sure. If we do get a win, doesn't matter how it comes, even if it's a shit house parking a bus. If we get a result, we get a result. That will definitely buy him some time. But he's got to be showing, in general, way more than what we're seeing. And I know he says, "Oh, we're nowhere near the team we want to be," and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, we've never ever built on. We've seen good things like against Brighton. We saw some good stuff. I remember how excited Frank was after the Brighton game, even though we didn't win. He was like, "Oh, so excited about some of the football we played," and we just haven't seen any of it since. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like we haven't built on any of the good stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
And the most worrying thing I think for him at the moment is that defensive solidity has seemed to have completely gone.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Completely gone.
That's the thing. There's just
not, even people who say, yeah, but he's improving the defense, but has he even now? There's a case to say the defense is as bad as it was. Like, I know we've conceded technically less goals, but if it wasn't for Vicario, would we have?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I think you're right. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can say to rebuttal that or to argue that. As much as I want to, there's nothing I can say, and I'm in full agreement. Unfortunately, like, we have regressed since the beginning of the season to now. In every phase of our play, I think we've regressed. From attacking to defending, everything. Structure. Like, literally, there's nothing I can say that he's developed and he's worked on to improve over the course of this season so far. And unfortunately, if this carries on, there's only one way this is going to go, and that is going to be him marching out those doors with a P45.
Yeah, I think with the games coming thick and fast now, no international break, literally it's going to be 1-2 games a week. It's going to be a relentless schedule. He's got to get things right very, very quickly, and it's got to happen now.
Yeah, it's got to happen right now. And what a better time to do it than facing the champions of the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain, in their own patch. So it's going to be a hell of a game tomorrow. I don't know I kind of do know what to expect, but I don't really like I said before after the Arsenal game, as each embarrassment comes and goes, you brush that off, and then you look forward to the next game, and you're like, all right, Spurs are back, but I'm just struggling to find the enthusiasm to get up for this game.
Yeah, the players need to show something to give us belief that maybe we could do something like we did against PSG, like we did against Man City, and show they're up for the fight. They've got an ability to get closer. They're putting those challenges in. And if we go down swinging. Don't go down meekly like we have been doing recently.
See, a bit of bite, a bit of fight. Come on. Is that so much to ask for?
Let's have a 0.1, please, in XG. Come on. None of these 0.0s anymore. I don't want
0 point anything.
No 0 point. Exactly. Why a 0? I'm not even asking for a 1. I'm asking for a 0.1. That's how low we've got. I'm saying, can we have a 0.1?
The thing is, though, like, you sack Frank in January.
A 0.1 means a 25-yard shot.
You sack Frank in January, then what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to start planning now for that if that happens. I don't know. Get Antwerp for 6 months. I'll take that.
And if Ange ain't going to come back, I don't like. So what is the plan?
Xavi? Throw the book at Xavi?
Like, we can't even rely on Mason now because he's in a job.
Cochrane. Oh, what's it called? What's the interim? Cochrane interim.
Cochrane interim. Man.
Get one of these managers from Germany, Seb Hoeneß from Stuttgart. Everyone likes him.
Yeah, I just feel like if we know that there's no future with Frank, I think it's like managers become available in the summer. Good managers come available in the summer.
Brendan Rodgers, someone said.
You know, I asked you that about Brendan Rodgers last night. About would you take Brendan Rodgers? Yeah. Why not?
I mean, to be honest, over this potentially.
Like, why not?
I don't want to give Brendan Rodgers a 3-year deal. You know?
No. I'm talking about interim from now to the end of the season.
I take Rodgers over an interim over what I'm seeing.
But even like with Brendan Rodgers, right, in terms of a full-time manager, like, he's done well.
He just got sacked, didn't he, from Celtic?
I mean, he's won the league every time he's managed Celtic.
How did he get sacked from Celtic?
I think it's just like they hate their owners there. I don't know. There's a whole. I don't know. It's called Hearts are like 8 points clear at the top of the league, or they were. But forget that Brendan got sacked from Celtic. Like, he's won the league every time he's been there, which is it's no achievement, no crazy achievement. But in the Premier League, he's done well.
Yeah,
won the FA Cup.
I don't think he's a terrible manager. I just think we could do better.
Who?
Who's available? Xavi. I'll take Xavi right now.
Would Xavi come to Spurs?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, Brendan's an okay manager, but he's not, I think he was good for a time. I don't know anymore. He got relegated with Leicester.
Yeah, but he also finished fifth twice with them.
He finished fifth twice. Yeah.
And won them the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Title charge with Liverpool as well. Unlucky not to win the league that year.
Yeah, but the next season they finished 8th or something.
Yeah.
And the season before they finished 8th.
Yeah.
It was an anomaly, that league, that title. They had Suarez and Sturridge.
But also before Brendan, like they were nowhere near a title charge, were they?
One season under Rafa they were, but yeah. They were obviously in the wilderness under Hodgson, weren't they?
But anyway, look, it's true. Like we should stop this nonsense because Frank is here. Frank is our manager. I think it is a bit disrespectful to speak about other managers.
Brendan Rodgers. I don't know about Brendan. Inzaghi? Yeah, I don't think Inzaghi's in Saudi, isn't he?
But look, that's
also a main reason why I'm willing to give Frank a bit more time, just because
there's no options.
There's not really an outstanding candidate. When Nuno was gone, Conte was just sitting there, free agent. We'd already had discussions with him. We knew that he was like sitting there. There's not really a Conte equivalent.
Yeah, no, there's not. But look, like I said, bigger managers and better managers come available in the summer.
Although Conte is getting itchy feet enough. Could we go for round 2 with Antonio?
Look, it's me and you. We get the Eurostar out very early at the crack of dawn tomorrow, so we're going to be there in Paris for the game. So, yeah, I'm not very much looking forward to it, but let's hope that, stranger things have happened. You never know.
Look, football, anything can happen once the ball kicks off.
Yeah, exactly. It's just 11 men against 11 men on a football pitch.
At the end of the day, we did nearly beat them in the Super Cup, so if we can recreate that somehow, you never know.
Yeah, I'm sure they're quaking in their boots. They're quaking. But yeah, that's... sorry you don't get more upbeat preview this week, but it is what it is. Spurs PSG, that is your match preview.